Have you guys noticed that your grocery bill feels heavier even though your cart looks lighter? In this episode, I'm going to tell you guys about vegflation, what it is, why it matters, where it's coming from, and what you can do about it. So, guys, tune in and take notes.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
Guys, this is hot off the presses. I just saw this in the news the other day. Vegflation has arrived. But what the heck does that even mean? And what can you do about it? I'm going to tell you guys what you need to know in this episode of the podcast. This is breaking news, hot off the presses. So let's launch right into it. What is vegflation? So to define it simply, it's the upward inflation of vegetable prices more than overall food inflation in general. The headline that I saw was that veggie prices were up something like 30% in the last 4 weeks, which is a significant increase in the price of produce. And so we're talking about your lettuce, your tomatoes, your onions, your peppers. You may have noticed that these staples are meaningfully more expensive than they were a month ago. And for those of us that live a healthy lifestyle, these are staples in our diets. And this is very impactful on us and our grocery bills. So then the question becomes, why is this happening? What is going on out there? So I went and did a little bit of homework. And from the article, we have several factors that are driving this. A big one is climate and weather impacts. There have been important droughts in some areas, floods in other areas, and heat waves in certain areas that are disrupting crop production and crop yields from farmers. There are supply chain issues that are playing in, that fuel costs are up. We have shipping bottlenecks. We have fewer seasonal workers, and all of those create supply chain issues that drive price up as well. We have input costs rising. That's fertilizers, water, and labor. And then we have global factors. We have export and import tariffs. We have conflicts. We have trade restrictions affecting supply. So just generally speaking, there's a multifactorial situation going on with your groceries that have, interestingly, converged on the produce side of things in particular here. And this is why you might be seeing higher prices for veggies, specifically when you go to the market, especially as a health conscious person who's trying to eat vegetables. Certainly, if you're in any of our nutrition coaching programs at CrossFit, we are big believers in getting the vast majority of your carbohydrate load from vegetables because they're nutritious. They give you vitamins and minerals and nutrients that you need to function at your best. If you're a CrossFitter or any kind of performance athlete, having input of quality carbs is very important to your performance. And so this really hits home for those of us that are eating healthy foods on the regular. So then the question becomes, what can we do about this? And I went out, did the homework for you guys. So I've got a handful of strategies that you can use. Right off the bat, shopping seasonally, buying what's in peak harvest where we live here in the Glen Ed area is helpful because those foods tend to be more plentiful and less susceptible to vegflation. Some stuff that tends to be pretty readily available in season here in the Glen Ed area: bell peppers, beans, carrots, cabbage, cauliflower, corn, cucumbers, eggplant, garlic, grapes, herbs, leeks, lettuce, melons, onions, peas, both regular and sweet potatoes, radishes, turnips, and tomatoes. And as we get into the more fall and touching into winter months, your spinach, pumpkins, and possibly winter squash varieties also maybe in season and relatively plentiful without the impact of vegflation. Next point is using frozen veggies in your favor. The steamable bags of veggies are one of my favorite ways, one of my favorite practical, convenient ways to get veggies regularly. That way, you don't have to worry about like peak ripeness. The affordability is built in. Sometimes frozen foods are actually more nutritious if the fresh produce has been shipped long distances. So that counts too. Or besides getting the steamable bags of veggies, the frozen bags of veggies, getting canned foods like the low sodium variations of canned veggies are shelf stable and very budget friendly and maybe less likely to be victim of the veg-flation thing happening right now. Something I'm a big fan of and have started doing myself also in the last year and a half or so, year-ish, is growing my own. I've got garden beds at home that I use to grow my own vegetables. And there's something very cool about having your own vegetable factory, so to speak, in your yard. And you don't have to start with a massive production. You can start small, one small garden bed, one small 5-gallon container, or even like a 5-gallon bucket you could use. Put some quality compost soil in there, and that can be all you need to start growing veggies at home. You can also do what we call a stretch and swap, which is where you use veggies in versatile ways, where you substitute pricier ones with cheaper ones. Like you go cabbage instead of kale, you do carrots instead of bell peppers, for example. And then sometimes, this is not a foolproof plan, but sometimes local farmers markets can have discounts on stuff. So that might be a place to look as well. So to kind of close out, Veg-flation is arriving to a grocery store near you with up to 30% higher vegetable prices, but it does not have to derail your healthy eating. You can focus on seasonal, frozen, and smart shopping. So with a little bit of creativity, our plates can stay healthy and our wallets can too. We'd love to hear from you guys. Tell us in the comments if you're seeing spikes in vegetable prices, and we'll talk about it. We'll continue the conversation in the comments. But for now, thanks for the gift of your time and your attention, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more useful tools and guidance, go to CrossFitEdwardsville.com and feel free to like, share, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment sections down below. See you in the next episode.